Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the very first Suirway MKII Escort Challenge presented by Digital-Motorsports.com. It's fantastic to have you all here tonight. It is the inaugural rally event on Assetto Corsa, and we're so happy to have you all here with us tonight. Of course, in association with Motorsport Ireland and with Millington Engines, Fanatec, SimLabs, and all of the sponsors involved there. We've got two stages coming up for you tonight. We've got the Mondello Park Rally Sprint stage, specifically designed for this event, and then we have the Digital-Motorsports stage in Slovenia, which will come up next time. So we're really looking forward to having you here and watching some amazing drivers competing in this one. We'll give you a run through of the running order very shortly. We have got Craig Breen joining us, of course, a Hyundai WRC driver. We have John Armstrong. We have Andrew Watson, Andreas Zetterland, Jose Pedro Fontes. We've got Lawrence de Soswa, Keith Dempsey, Evan Walsh, Dan Evans, Josh Malin, Matthias Adilson, Andre Lavandino, Simone Campidelli, Avon Brynildsen, and Sandy Mitchell. And it's amazing to have them all with us today. We really look forward to having them on the stage. So we will have 2 laps around Mondello, a specially designed rally sprint stage, and of course we'll have the Digital-Motorsports stage as well. And joining us just before he heads out onto the stage, we have Craig Breen, who helped develop the model of the MKII Escort. And Craig, it's fantastic to have you with us, and it's a really special event we've got going on here.
Yeah, look, it's something nice. We've been, I've been doing a small part of it, but the guys have been working really hard on this for the last couple of weeks. And I suppose since I was a young fella, I've always wanted to have some sort of a pure rally simulator, and we've been doing everything we can to make this as realistic as possible. And this is something really unique to actually have a live, a proper live rally event. I don't think it's been done, not in this context before. So it's something really special and nice to be part of it.
Yeah, and of course we're heading around into the Mondello rally sprint stage. It's a really interesting circuit, isn't it?
Yeah, look, I would have done the rally sprint a few times in this actual car, this livery. I would have done it a few times before. So it's it's nice to be here, and nice to be able to start on Mondello. Obviously, the circuit is incredible, the way they've been able to model it, and how close it is. And we've managed to put in a couple of chicanes and make it look somewhat like a rally stage. So it's tricky enough. You can get caught in the chicanes quite easy. So you have to be keep your nose clean, and then the next stage is a really difficult one, bumpy, narrow, twisty, fast in places. It really has it all.
So what do you think? Do you think you have a good chance of winning tonight?
No, no. If I'm looking at the people around me, it's going to be very difficult. But anyway, we'll have a lot of fun, and I hope it's a start to something big.
Great job. Well, best of luck, Craig, and we'll hopefully talk to you afterwards. But best of luck, and thank you for joining us.
Perfect. Thank you.
So now we get ready to go very shortly. Craig Breen rolling up to the line. Thank you all for joining us on the Digital-Motorsports.com YouTube channel, and for those of you who have joined us through dirtfish.com as well. We're delighted to have you with us in this amazing event supported by Motorsport Ireland and Digital Motorsports, Fanatec, and SimLabs. And of course, we are giving away that amazing rally simulator worth €2,000. That is, of course, provided by Fanatec and SimLabs. So stick around. We will announce the winner towards the end of the stream. My name is Jack Canal. I'll be bringing you all the action tonight, and hopefully you'll stick around with us for some amazing rally action, which is going to be amazing. Of course, we do have a couple of missing drivers as well. Jimmy Broadbent, unfortunately, if you've been watching his channel, he is unfortunately quite sick at the moment. He does send his apologies, and it was a little bit sad we couldn't get Jimmy out today. And as well, Connor Shanahan, James Dean, not around tonight, but hopefully we'll get them in to some potential future rounds. But either way, we've got 15 drivers lining up tonight. And we will now have Craig Breen heading into the stage very shortly, and we'll give you an idea of the rally sprint stage here in Mondello Park in Kildare in Ireland. And it'll be cars released at 2-minute intervals, with Craig Breen heading out first, followed by John Armstrong in the MKII Escorts. Of course, these are powered by the 2.5-litre Millington engine, 350 brake horsepower, 6-speed sequential gearbox. It is an absolute animal of a car. It's unbelievable. And a lot of the pros have said this is about as close as you can get to real life with this amazing car. On Assetto Corsa we are running on tonight. And Craig Breen now getting up to the line, and he will get underway very, very shortly. They will have 2 laps around the Mondello circuit. At the second lap, they will head into the pit lane where a course is marked out in the paddock. So we're using all of the track available to him. And we'll get ready to send Craig out into the stage, and he will set his benchmark time. And we will have the times for you at the end of everybody's run. So let's get ready to rumble here in Mondello Park. And if you're going to join us for joining us on Dirtfish, if you join us on Digital-Motorsports.com on the YouTube channel, make sure to subscribe, make sure to sign up to the newsletter, and make sure to tell us in the chat why you should think you should win that fantastic Fanatec simulator, which of course is built by Digital-Motorsports.com to provide solutions for pro drivers and recreational drivers alike. And it can ship anywhere in Europe, anywhere around the world where you like. And if you'd like to check out any of the equipment, you can on digitalmotorsports.com. Let's get ready to run then. We've got a lot of drivers to send through So Craig Breen, we've just got the 10-second countdown warning for Craig, and he's about to launch this Mark II, rag it around Mondello Park. And let's get ready to go with Craig Breen, the man born in County Waterford. The revs are rising. And let's get Craig Breen. Let's get this event underway. Craig Breen down towards turn number 1 then. So you get an idea. We're going to use the full layout of the GP circuit here in Mondello Park through turn number 1. And then we'll head through turn 2 where there'll be a chicane waiting for Craig at the end of it. On board with him now. So you can see he arrives down towards the first chicane, gets it on the brakes. Nicely done through there. Then we head through this really almost evil corner at turn 4, which double apex, and it's even trickier in a rear-wheel drive Mark II Escort with 350 brake horsepower. And now into this next tight little chicane, which you're going to need first gear for. Nice direction change there. Then to the hairpin. The temptation is to get the rear end to step out here, but you really want to be smooth, but he does really get a nice slide on there, Craig Breen. Now down to the fastest part of the circuit now, down the hill, dropping into the right-hander. And then into this long right-hander up to 6th gear he'll go up to, and we'll see the speed this car is able to reach. But waiting on the line now is John Armstrong, the junior WRC driver from County Fermanagh, and also the development driver for Dirt Rally 2.0, who is, of course, now debuting in Assetto Corsa in this Mark II Escort Challenge by the Suirway Group. And we'll see how John is able to get on. Very familiar with esports, of course. He's a WRC esports winner, and now he's waiting on the line. But we go back to Craig as he's about to finish his first lap. He'll have to go 2 times around the circuit and the second time into the pit lane. So using the full layout here into south side at the top of the hill over the crest and into the start finish straight once again, where there's a chicane in the middle of it, right in the middle. You can just see it there as you can see John Armstrong waiting on the line, and behind him will be Andrew Watson waiting on the start ramp. Nicely done. Now John Armstrong on the line, waiting to go. See how John Armstrong gets on from County Fermanagh. Away goes John Armstrong. Now let's see how John gets on. He's more used to a 2-wheel drive Fiesta R2 in Junior WRC, so this is going to be a brand new challenge for me, but he was looking quick in practice. The drivers have been practicing for over a week for this one, and it's amazing to see them all out on track. John now going to be battling with Craig Breen, and with many others, sends it in there over the top of turn 4, really sideways, nicely held by John. You have the choice to run a left-hand drive or a right-hand drive variant of this car, depending on your preference. Some of the Italian drivers have opted for the left-hand drive, and a couple of the Irish drivers opting for the right. But Craig opting for the left-hand drive version of this car. He's now coming down the back of the circuit. See, reaching 220 kilometers an hour onto the brakes into the double right-hander at the bottom of the hill. Really tricky corner, and the temptation again is to get the rear end to step out, but you need to be smooth. Then past the tyre bale, that'll come up afterwards. But John Armstrong, now he's going to be around the same part of the circuit shortly through the chicane and up around the double right-hander before coming up over the hill for his first time. He has another lap to do. Now, watch this one. Craig Breen, he's about to finish out his run. He's going to disappear off onto the right-hand side into the pit lane here at Mondello Park and disappear into the paddock. Watch this one now. He uses all of the road and then turns tightly into the right-hand side and into the paddock, where there's a course marked out with cones here. Big bump just right here. You can see the rear end lifts up, and then a couple of hairpins to negotiate before we'll head across the line, and he will set the benchmark time that the rest of the drivers have got to deal with. So now. Craig really tight and coming up to the back of the pit garages round this hairpin at the end, and he will come across the line, getting it really sideways onto the power. Craig Breen across the line to set a 3:39.874, and that is his fastest time of the session. John Armstrong on his lap right now. So let's see if John can better that time. Can he beat Craig Breen's time? It was a quick one from Craig. But now we also have Andrew Watson out on the stage as well. The young man from Belfast, the World Endurance Championship driver. He's an Aston Martin factory junior and very experienced in endurance racing, but not necessarily experienced in a Mark II Escort. So it's a very different one for Andrew. And it's going to be really interesting to see how he gets on. So now, of course, he was a former Ginetta Super Cup driver as well. But moving into the World Endurance Championship, and now has his work cut out in a brand new championship on Assetto Corsa, and has also been competing in the Porsche Cayman Cup on iRacing with us here at Digital-Motorsports.com. But Andrew Watson on his lap now down the back of the circuit into the right-hander. You get an idea of the speed now. Banging up through the gears up to 4th, into 5th, and then the short throw up to 6th gear. Drivers all on a fixed setup as well, so there's no advantage to be gained there. Down to 2nd gear, neat and tidy from Andrew Watson. A race winner in the aforementioned Porsche Cayman Cup on iRacing here at Digital Motorsports. John Armstrong, he'll be on his 2nd lap now. Into the pits now comes John Armstrong. He's got to try and beat the time of Craig Breen, which was a 3:39.874. So stiff competition for the young man from County Fermanagh. Very experienced esports driver and sim racer, also a rally specialist in junior WRC, getting the car very sideways, using all of that road, throwing this Mark II around into the last hairpin now, onto the power. What's it going to be for John Armstrong across the line? 3:43.647 for John Armstrong. Not as quick as Craig Breen, but that is currently the 2nd fastest time by him. But now we, of course, have Andrew Watson on the stage. He is on his 2nd of 2 laps right now and heading up the hill for the 2nd time. Wonder, is it going to be anywhere? Is he going to challenge any of the guys up front? That was a super time from Craig Breen, showing his experience. The man born in County Waterford, and a very experienced Irish Tarmac Rally Championship driver as well. He's won many around, has driven Mark IIs similar to this one, and has proven his worth right there. Of course, has just received his drive in the WRC in Finland. We now look at Andreas Zetterlund from Sweden, competing from Sweden, the young rally driver from Sweden, also a very experienced sim racer, getting on the grass as he comes out of the hairpin right there. But also, if you might notice him on the Dirt Rally 2.0 leaderboards as well, is a very quick man and more used to a Suzuki Swift. So he's a very different beast to a Mark II Escort rear-wheel drive compared to a front-wheel drive. By the way, we'll see how Zetterlund gets on. So we've got a good mix here of real-world drivers. We've got mixed with sim racers on board with Zetterlund now. He's on his 1st lap. He has been just released into the stage. Now, gently through the chicane. That's a really tricky chicane right there. And down is the last hairpin. Now, Watson ending his run through the paddock once again for Andrew Watson. Is he going to slot in between Armstrong and Breen? It looked like a fairly cautious run compared to the rally drivers, but looking really smooth. It looks like his GT style driving is coming out right here. So neat and tidy from the young man from Belfast, coming through the hairpin for the final time across the line. Andrew Watson will set a 3:44. So that was a really good time from Andrew Watson right there. Just a 2nd off the time of John Armstrong, but still not enough to eclipse Craig Breen. So a really good one from Andrew Watson. Impressive stuff for a man who's not used to Assetto Corsa. Back with Andreas Zetterlund. Jose Pedro Fontes into the stage. An extremely experienced rally racer from Portugal. Great to have him with us tonight as well. Of course, Jose, 44-year-old from Portugal, a multiple Portuguese rally champion, Iberian Trophy 2016 winner. He is very experienced, but more used to a kind of a Citroen C3 R5. So this will be a new one for him. Taking it nice and steady so far, Jose. And how is he going to fare in this Mark II Escort? Looking cautious so far for him. Taking it gently at the moment. Probably a sightseeing run for Jose. Hasn't done too much practice around Mondello. Mondello will not be a familiar circuit for a lot of these guys. So how is Jose going to get on? Now, coming through the twitching, coming out of the back straight right there, heading down towards the chicane at the bottom of the hill, touching 210 kilometers an hour, taking it a lot easier than some of the other guys here. Zetterlund will be coming to the end of his run now. And Zetterlund should be finishing his run very shortly. So we'll see what Zetterlund's able to do. But it's going to be an interesting one. We'll stick with Jose Pedro Fontes. Great to have a Portuguese rally legend with us as he goes through the stage. Now, how about some YouTube influencers? Lawrence de Soswa, the man from County Cork. He's streaming on his own YouTube right now if you'd like to go and support him. Been a long-time supporter of Digital Motorsports. It's fantastic to have him racing with us. I know he'll be a bag of nerves right now, but it's fantastic to see Lawrence with us as well. So we'll see how Lawrence gets on. And he's been really, really looking forward to this one. So Lawrence de Soswa about to launch himself into the stage here at Mondello Park in the right-hand drive variant of this car. And away goes de Soswa. Interesting to see how he'll get on now. So Zetterlund, Fontes and de Soswa are on the stage at the moment. Zetterlund should be nearing the end of his run, and he has finished 3:49.536 for Zetterlund. So now Fontes and de Soswa now quite close, getting into the barriers a little bit goes de Soswa. Could be in danger here that de Soswa may end up catching Fontes, but Fontes is on his second lap at the moment, so he'll peel into the pit lane while de Soswa goes onto his second lap. So we'll see how he gets on. A good few drivers still yet to come. We've got Keith Dempsey, Evan Walsh, Dan Evans, and more to come into the stage. But still, nobody has eclipsed at the time of 3:39.874 by Craig Breen. Second at the moment is John Armstrong at 3:43.3. Andrew Watson 3:44.265. And then a 3:49.536 for Andreas Zetterlund at the moment. You can see a little tap on the tyre barrier from Lawrence right there. But you can see this will be an interesting one. It's great to see de Soswa now following Jose Pedro Fontes. And they come down towards the very tight chicane, deceivingly tight, and those tyre barriers are not friendly. I can tell you from experience, touching those will end your run instantly. So now de Soswa's going to be wanting Fontes to move out of the way quickly. Fontes should be on his second lap at the moment, about to head onto into the paddock section now. And Fontes peels off to the right-hand side, so Fontes will be finishing his run shortly as de Soswa goes onto the back straight to begin his second lap. So let's see what the time will be for Fontes. And we should have Keith Dempsey, Digital Motorsports, I would say an icon in Digital-Motorsports.com, represented Ireland in the FIA Motorsport Games over in Italy, and did very well for Team Ireland over there. And away goes the 36-year-old from Ashburn, County Meath. Did his time in Formula Renault UK before retiring and going on to compete in sim racing on iRacing. He's one of the fastest drivers in Ireland on the platform, and has won multiple championships, virtual Leinster Trophy champion on this particular game as well. So let's see how Keith gets on. He's been looking quick through the practice. So the time for Fontes was a 4:05.822 to remind you. And it's been fantastic to see Fontes out, but not the quickest from him. Dempsey negotiating his way through the chicane. Now we're right on board with Keith Dempsey. Getting sideways out to the curb, all the way out on the right-hand side. We'll, of course, have another stage after this one, which is almost 5 minutes long. It is the Dragozze stage in Slovenia, and it's a total polar opposite to this stage, which is tight and twisty. Oh, de Soswa getting into the tyre barrier a little bit there, but gets away with it. Damage is, of course, off. And coming through the right-hander, the chicane, and into the hairpin at the bottom. De Soswa will be finishing his run, so we'll stick with Lawrence as he finishes out. The skin's looking really, really nicely on these Mark II, developed and made by Evan Walsh, who's going to be racing with us as well very shortly. He'll be actually next out onto the circuit. So de Soswa into the paddock to start to the end of his run. Gently done so far, making sure to avoid the cones. Watch for the bump right there and onto the brakes, turning it into these really tight and twisty hairpins. Into the last couple of hairpins now, around the left and into the right, which is marked out just at the end of the wall at the back of the pit garages. And De Soswa across the line to finish his run. What does he set? It is a... Didn't quite see that one.
53. Yep, no problem at all. Here we go, this is... Oh, hello.
VR.
Oh, fuck.
It kind of like, I see 1 frame per second almost at sometimes. So you have no idea when to counter steer or like where you actually are on the track.
A couple of others to come as well. It's been all good so far. So we should have Evan Walsh coming out onto the stage shortly now. Josh Malin waiting behind him. Evan Walsh waiting on the line. Malin just waiting on the start ramp here. Josh Malin, Ginetta GT5 driver, and has been competing in the Isolation E-Racing Series on BT Sport as well. It's been broadcast, but Evan is out on the stage. The sim racer for VRA Racing from Clonmel in County Tipperary, and his has been a long-time competitor in Digital-Motorsports and is a big, massive fan of rallying as well. So we'll see how Evan gets on. I know there'll be a lot of people supporting Evan here tonight. And he, of course, developed and made the skins for these Mark II Escorts, which look amazing. So a big thank you to Evan for making these skins. Let's say using the right-hand drive variant. Around the hairpin on the back of the circuit. And coming down the second hairpin. He's on his... should be on his first lap here. And Keith Dempsey as well should be finishing his run very shortly as well. And now Evan into the chicane. How does he negotiate this? Decent speed through there. A couple more drivers still to come onto the stage, so Keith Dempsey should be finishing his run very shortly. And Keith Dempsey has gone fastest of all, 3:39.4. He goes 4/10 quicker than Craig Breen. So Keith Dempsey sets an absolute blistering time right there. So the man from Ashburn, County Meath, has put one over on the WRC driver, and he's showing his prowess. Right, there's a Keith Dempsey is the leader at the moment. Evan Walsh on his second lap. How does Evan do on this one? Got a couple more to come. Evan now down the back of the circuit. Of course, for those of you who are watching, you are watching the Suirway Mark II Escort Challenge presented by Digital-Motorsports.com, supported by Motorsport Ireland, sponsored by Fanatec and Sim Labs as well, who are providing the wonderful prize of the fully kitted out simulator rig. And if you are do in with a chance of winning that, then please do subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the newsletter, and do tell us why you think you should be in with a chance of winning that one. Dan Evans now, part of Codemasters and a very experienced sim racer as well. And great to have Dan with us. But now, waiting on the line is Josh Malin, the Ginetta GT5 driver from the UK. And again, like I mentioned, has been competing in the Isolation E-Racing Series, which has been broadcast live on BT Sport, and I've had the pleasure of covering as well. So I've seen Josh competing in that one. And he's been doing quite well in those Formula 3 cars, but a very different prospect today of Mark II Escorts at Mondello. So just getting the engine up to temperature, to be getting the tyres up to temperature as well. Waiting for Evan Walsh to finish his run now. See what Evan's able to do versus the guys. Evan has just come across the line for a 3:45.629. So he slots in just in 5th place behind Andrew Watson. So decent one, but Josh Malin is away from the line. So we'll see now the 19-year-old from the UK. How is he going to negotiate his way through here? Champion in the Max 5 series in 2017, Mazda MX-5 championship, but is now competing in the Ginetta GT5s, which are great little cars as well. But this has a lot more power than a Ginetta. But fantastic to have these guys competing from all over the world, getting nice and sideways out of there. And as well, fantastic to have Matthias Adilson on the line and waiting to go. But Josh Malin on his run at the moment. We'll, of course, keep an eye on Matthias. There'll be plenty of support from Matthias Adilson tonight as well. Josh getting his way through there. Now, Matthias Adilson, the man from Sweden, European Rally Championship driver and a sim racer as well for WERT Esports. Group of guys that I know very, very well, and I know there'll be a lot of people from WERC supporting him here tonight. So a great hello to all you guys out there as well. So we now watch Josh Malin getting sideways through the left-hander and the right-hander. Round the hairpin. Josh Malin about to finish his first lap round the Mondello Rally Sprint stage. Remember, there is another stage to come after this. Getting onto the grass. Coming through the right-hander. And onto the back straight. Now through the chicane. How does he negotiate? Nicely done from Josh Malin. Down towards the first hairpin again. But Adilson waiting on the line for this run through the stage. And there'll be lots of support for Matthias Adilson here tonight. He's competed in the FIA World Rallycross Esports Series as well. And Adilson is away into the stage to begin his run. He's been looking pretty pacey, has Matthias. So we'll see what he's able to do. New charity for him in Assetto Corsa as well. More use to Dirt Rally 2.0, as you'd all be aware. But this is going to be great for Matthias. Josh Malin just in the middle part of the circuit as well. He'll be finishing his run shortly. And then we'll have Andre Lavadino into the stage after Matthias as well. So there's a 2-minute gap between each car. And they'll be released as such. With Adilson now getting it tight to the curb on the inside. And on the power on the way out nicely. Now, down the back of the circuit, you can get a sense of the speed right here, carrying lots of speed. Drivers were saying you do not want to slide through that corner. It will cost you a lot of time. Up to 5th gear, up to 6th gear. Touching 220 kilometers an hour onto the brakes, through the chicane, into the right-hander at the bottom of the hill. Short shift to 3rd. Keeping it in 3rd gear as he now onto the power, gets it a little bit sideways, but nice and neat and tidy from Adilson now. Onto the brakes, into the right-hander and the left. Really tight chicane right there. Josh Malin should be coming to the end of his run now shortly. We'll see if how Malin will get on. Now, Adilson will begin his 2nd lap, coming through Southside, the final corner here at Mondello Park. The site of many an accident through there. And down to the front straight once again. So Malin has just finished his run. So we'll see what his time is. And on the line now is Andre Lavadino. Somebody different. The FIA WRC photographer. So great to have Lavadino as well. He was a rally racer as well, but he is of course the photographer in the WRC. So it's fantastic to have him out here as well. So it was Josh Malin with a 3:40.317. He slotted the 3rd ahead of John Armstrong. So a good run from Josh Malin. But Andre Lavadino into the stage now, the man from Portugal as well. Really trying back to... He's having a tough time getting the power down here, but he's really ragging the car around. Adilson should be about halfway around his 2nd lap right now. It'll be interesting to see where Adilson's going to slot in, because it's been super close between Adilson and Armstrong, Watson, all those guys getting sideways. Look at this from Lavadino. He's really putting on a show here. There's a bit of showboating going on here for Lavadino. And down the hill into the hard braking for this one. You see the car trying to get away from him. But now, let's stay with Matthias Adilson, if possible, as he will come into the paddock to finish his lap. Around the left-hander. And now, a couple more corners left for Adilson. So let's see what he's able to do. Into the pit lane he'll come now, into the paddock on the right-hand side. And diving in at full speed, down to 1st gear, the slowest corner, down to almost 30 kilometers an hour before you get on the power again, into the paddock, through the cones on either side, over the bump, onto the brakes. And snaking his way through this back section. Winding the steering lock on. Where is Adelson going to slot in here? This is going to be really close, I reckon, between these guys at the top. Round the last corner, Adelson, what does he set? He comes across line full power, 347.0. So he slots in to just behind Watson. So that should be 6th place for Matthias Adelson. So it's a really good time for Adelson. So it's 6th place for him, slotting ahead of Zetterlund and behind Watson. So now Simone Campidelli rolling up to the start line. Campidelli, another European Rally Championship driver from Italy, and drives, of course, the brand new Ford Fiesta Mark 5 R5 car, I think. But on the stage now is Eivind Brynildsen from Norway, which is another S2000 driver as well. So he's another rally driver that we got with us as well. It's fantastic to have him in the stage as well. Just up ahead of him, there's a car getting a little bit wrong. I think that's Lavadino on his 2nd lap at the moment. So let's see how the Scandinavians get on. So there's Sweden and Norway represented here tonight, and plenty of course, Irish drivers. Portugal represented as well. So there's drivers from all over the world here. So now we wait to see what Eivind Brynildsen will do. I have to thank Matthias Adelson for the pronunciation guide on that one. But Simone Campidelli, how does Simone get on from his start slot? He'll be getting underway shortly. We, of course, await the arrival of Andre Lavadino, who is just coming around the chicane in front of Eivind, right here. You can kind of see him just up ahead, getting really sideways. So we'll see what Lavadino is going to be able to set now. He's really throwing that car around. He's having some fun out there, is Lavadino, the photographer for the World Rally Championship, into the paddock. And let's see what time he's going to set. I'm sure the Portuguese are going to be battling with each other. So Lavadino, I think, would love to beat Jose Pedro Fontes, but it's going to be a hard ass for that one. So coming into the hairpin, really throwing it in there. And Simone Campidelli is going to be launched into the stage now. And away goes the Italian. Into the stage, of course, the winner of Rally Italy last year in the European Rally Championship in the Ford Fiesta R5, the brand new model by M Sport. But this Ford Escort is really something. Developed by Craig Breen in association with Craig Breen as well. And the guys worked really hard on this model. So it's fantastic to see it out in action at last. But Campidelli, going to be interesting to see how he gets on. Where's he going to slot in relative to the rest of them? So just one more driver to be released into the stage after that one, and that'll be Sandy Mitchell, who is going to be lining up with us here today as well. It'll be great to have Sandy Mitchell lining up on the grid as well. Sandy, of course, the 20-year-old from the UK, so competing in the Lamborghini Super Trofeo North America Series, and also competes against Josh Malin in the Isolation E-Racing Series on BT Sport as well. So Sandy, an experienced sim racer as well as GT racer. But Simone Campidelli on his 2nd lap now, should be coming to the end of his 1st lap, maybe. Trying to keep up with timings on both screens here as well. So should be Lavadino who just comes across the line. He just came in behind Jose Pedro Fontes, so a couple of seconds. The Portuguese were very close. Pedro Fontes comes out on tops. So we're just talking about Sandy Mitchell right here. On the line, the 20-year-old from the UK who competes in the Lamborghini Super Trofeo North America Series. She's more used to a Huracan GT3 rather than a Mark II Escort. And as we wait here for a couple of times, we also just want to give a massive thank you to SimLabs for their hard work for over the last few months. So big thank you to those guys. They helped supply the simulator that is up for grabs in the competition as well. The last car is on the stage now, Sandy Mitchell in his Mark II. So that's a very different car for Sandy. Down to the left-hander. So just a couple of more cars to come across the line, then we will have stage number 2 to decide who's going to come out on top here. Sandy Mitchell coming up the top of the hill. A lot of these drivers will not be familiar with Mondello, so the Irish drivers would have an advantage as well. Of course, Mondello is available as a paid mod on Digital-Motorsports.com if you'd want to have a go around here. And of course, all these mods, the Mark II Escort and the Rally Sprint Stage and Andros Gozze, will be available afterwards for you to have a go. So I highly recommend you give this Mark II a go. It is really something. It is unbelievable. But now down the hill for the first time comes Sandy Mitchell. Simone Campidelli will be coming across to finish his second lap as well. Brennelson just slotting in ahead of Fontes as well, just keeping up to date on that. It's Campidelli, European Rally Championship driver, coming through the hairpin at the bottom. And out of the hairpin for the second time on his run around the Rally Sprint Stage in Mondello Park here in County Kildare in Ireland. Right where Digital Motorsports are based, of course, into the paddock. Round to the right-hander. Of course, the sim center of Digital Motorsports is based just in the paddock up here at the very end of the pits right here. So the finish line is right outside the door, actually. It's coming around the hairpin here. And down towards the last hairpin. Where is Campidelli going to slot in here? Around the last hairpin. Battle with the ERC drivers. Where's he going to slot in relative to Adelson? He comes across lines 11, 3:59 for Simone Campidelli. So the last car out on the circuit right now is Sandy Mitchell. So he's got our undivided attention now. He's on his final run as well. Is Sandy Mitchell. Of course, a massive thank you to all of you who are joining. It's an extremely popular stream that we've got going on as well, and it's incredible to see you all here on, of course, in these tough times of COVID-19. We've got another stage to come as well, so do not go anywhere because it's going to get really intriguing. And of course, do stick around as well to hear the winner of the Rally Simulator, fully decked out in Fanatec gear. You've got the Fanatec GT2 rims, CSL Elite pedals, SimLabs Evo chassis, Sparko racing seat, fully kitted out. It is an incredible piece of kit, and perfect for a car exactly like this Mark II. But Sandy Mitchell, he's got the pressure now. He's got over 700 people watching him live coming around here in the Suirway MKII Escort Challenge in association with Motorsport Ireland and Millington Engines, of course, who are powering this Mark II Escort underneath the 2.5 litre engine underneath the bonnet of this Mark II. And the prize provided by Fanatec and SimLabs as well. Now into the paddock. Sandy Mitchell will be the last car to set a time. So where is he going to slot in? He'd have had the opportunity to see what's going to be a good time, what's not going to be a good time. Into the hairpins for the second time, taking it nice and gently. Doesn't want to spin the car. We haven't had any major accidents, so the drivers have been taking it relatively easy. They've been really cautious, avoiding the barriers into the final hairpin. And across the line, the last car, Sandy Mitchell, comes across the line. Where does he slot in? 7th, 3:45.918. And slots in behind a couple of tenths behind Evan Walsh. But a really interesting one there. The winner of that stage was Keith Dempsey by a couple of tenths over Craig Breen. So that'll be a really interesting one that we've seen right there from Keith, 339.490 to a 339.874. So we have Craig Breen back in with us once again. Craig, that was a really tight battle you had going on there with Keith.
It's brilliant. That's exactly what we wanted. So yeah, obviously Keith's probably done a few more laps around there than I have, but no, it's great. You know, and even though that it's relatively small gaps given the concept that it is, and John had a bit of trouble with I think with the VR with his frame rate and stuff, so he'll probably get that sorted for the next one. And but no, it's great. It's gone exactly like I've expected. You know, I think it's good to watch. Watched a bit of the stream there while I was waiting, and yeah, no, really good. Really happy.
Yeah, just if I can just jump to Keith now. Keith, well done. A great stage time from you. Did you expect to get the pace out of the car today?
Not really. No, I'm quite happy with that, to be honest. I've done a little bit of practice around here, but if I'm not close here, I probably have no chance. I think the stage would be a totally different story. I've already done a clean run on the stage, but Mondello's like if I'm not good at Mondello, I'm not going to be good anywhere. So happy enough with that. It was still tough. The chicanes are quite tricky because you can't brush them or anything like that because they're like concrete, so they don't budge at all. So had to be a little bit careful. There's probably a little bit more time there, but just wanted to get a clean run in initially, at least have them under pressure for the stage, because the stage is the tricky one for me. Craig is fairly handy on the stage, so no pace notes don't help me either. But sure, look, it's a bit of fun. It's fair play to everyone and getting it all together. It's a great combo. The car is really nice to drive, and the stage is really good, and Mondello is savage. So fair play to all the lads. They've worked really hard.
Yeah, and of course you would have had the experience of Mondello, well, maybe not the rally sprint stage, but you won the virtual Leinster Trophy around here not too long ago.
Yeah, I know Mondello pretty well. It's Niall's track, so I know pretty good, and I seem to get on well with it for some reason. I don't know why, but yeah, it goes well for me around this track. But not in real life. In the stages and the computer games is all right, but not in real life I was terrible around here. So pretty happy.
Good stuff. Craig, if I can just jump to you now again. We're heading to Dragozze in Slovenia. Very different stage. So you can just tell us about the challenges of that stage we've got coming up next.
Yeah, it's tricky. It's a stage from a rally in the Slovenian Championship. I've watched a couple of the onboards from reality, and to be fair, they've got it really, really spot on. And it's really bumpy in places. Difficult, I have to say, to drive the car. You have to be really careful about how you come on the power. And obviously, the car is modelled around 350 odd, brake horsepower. So you have to be really, really careful about how you manage the bumps, and try to keep the wheel spin down. And there's a really, really fast section in the middle of the stage. You pass over the top of the col, and then it's all down into the end, down through the forest, a couple of villages. It really has it all. It's a perfect stage, I think.
Good stuff. We look forward to seeing that. We've also got Lawrence de Souza with us as well. Lawrence, must feel amazing to be racing against the likes of Craig and John and all these guys.
Yeah, it's absolutely nuts. The other night I was having a live stream, and all of a sudden there was a message on my live stream from Digital-Motorsports saying, answer your phone. And I was in the middle of a race. I'm leading a championship. I was like, what the hell? Why would they do this? Why would they say this to me during a race? And they know I'm leading the championship. And afterwards, sure enough, or actually during my break in between races, I spoke to Niall from Digital-Motorsports. And I spoke to him during the interval, and I obviously was still on stream. I wasn't able to talk to my subscribers and tell them anything about this event. But the first words out of his mouth were like, "How would you like to race with Craig Breen and a load of his buddies?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah, good stuff. So we've got a really decent viewership on this one. So Lawrence, would you like to sell yourself, so to speak, to the guys out there?
Yeah, definitely. Go over to my YouTube and give it an old subscribe. But I'm running a competition of my own for people to encourage them to win that rig. I want somebody from my community to win that rig. If you mention my name in the comments, you're going to be entered into my competition for an Assetto Corsa Competizione CD key. That's the best I can do. I'm only small time. But if one of you mentions me in the comments, you're going to be in the draw for that CD key. So, and come over, check out the channel. If you don't like it, feel free to leave.
Good stuff. And I know from your video earlier in the week that you did want to beat Jimmy Broadbent, so technically this counts in your mind.
Yeah, it was absolutely. It was what I was looking forward to the most, truth be told. But I mean, being in Discord earlier and hearing all those people talk, and just sharing a Discord channel, let alone a track with these people, is just completely nuts. I'll get my chance at Jimmy someday. It's like you can't blame him for being scared, in fairness.
Right, the gauntlet has been thrown down. Thanks for joining us, Lawrence. Best of luck out on the stage later on now.
Take it easy, Jack. You're doing a great job.
Thanks, Lawrence. So now, if you want to, of course, head over to Lawrence, as he mentioned. He's over on YouTube under the same name. So we'll be getting underway now for the Dragozze stage in Slovenia. As mentioned, part of the Slovenian Rally Championship. And we're going to reverse the running order that we had earlier on. So Craig Breen will be going out last on the stage. And it's going to be a really interesting one as well. So, of course, if you are just tuning in, you're watching the Suirway MKII Escort Challenge presented by Digital-Motorsports.com in association with Motorsport Ireland. And the prize of that fantastic rally simulator is provided, of course, by Fanatec and SimLabs. And of course, just a reminder, if you do want to be entered in with a chance of winning that simulator rig, make sure to subscribe to the Digital Motorsports YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe to the email newsletter. And, of course, tell us in the comments why you think you should win the simulator, because the winner will be announced after the end of this stage. But, ladies and gentlemen, please settle in. Welcome to whoever you are from around the world. Those of you who've joined us from Dirtfish, who are just joining us from the Digital-Motorsports.com YouTube channel, or over on Facebook, wherever you may be, and possibly over on the WERC Discord channel as well, where we've shared it earlier, and a lot of the Dirt 2.0 guys have been coming over to support Matthias Adelson, so welcome to all those guys as well. But Sandy Mitchell waiting on the line now, who we will send into the stage, and this is going to be amazing. This stage is incredibly technical, it's incredibly narrow, and any of those plastic bollards on the outside of the grass, you can just see one or two of them there, they are not breakable. If you hit them, the car is dead. You've got to be neat and tidy, you've got to be fast, smooth, and accurate. So now we'll see, it's about a 5-minute long stage here. And we'll see who is going to come out on top. Keith Dempsey taking the surprise stage win earlier on against Craig Breen. So we'll of course be able to tell you the results of the overall then after all this is done. But a massive welcome to all of you who are watching for the first time, and we hope that this isn't the last time that we get to do an event like this. It's been amazing. So we're going to get Sandy Mitchell underway shortly now. We'll be getting into the stage in just about 2 minutes' time, so we got another little bit of time to go. And we're going to actually send him in just a moment's time. And away goes Sandy Mitchell into the stage at Dragozza in Slovenia, stage number 2 of the Suirway MKII Escort Challenge presented by Digital-Motorsports.com. This is going to be one hell of a stage. Into the village section for the first time. This is incredibly narrow, incredibly tight and twisty. You climb up a mountain and then back down on the descent. And now we're right on board. You get an idea of how tricky this is. Stone wall on the right-hand side, crash barrier on the left-hand side, ready to greet you at the nearest possible opportunity. And over the top of the crest now, into the hairpin at the bottom. And this is where the climb starts now, right here. You'll climb all the way up the mountain that you see on the left-hand side, and it'll be then a descent. You'll get about halfway to the stage, and then you will descend back down the mountain and back through another village section. So we'll have
I'm in the server.
Then Ladino, followed Evan Walsh, Keith Dempsey, and Lawrence de Soz with the final Craig Breen. Keith Dempsey's going to be right in the middle of that one. So Sandy Mitchell is on his run right now, coming up the hill. That's a really tricky corner right there, as it gets steeper and steeper as you climb this mountain here in Slovenia. Squarely on the brakes there from Sandy. 20-year-old from the UK, competes in the Lamborghini Super Trofeo North America Series. He's a GT racer at heart, not necessarily a rally racer, but he's cutting his teeth here today. Now, onto the brakes. Might see a couple of drivers sending it through there, so it's looking neat and tidy from Sandy Mitchell at the moment. And now comes over towards the top of the hill closely now. He's just peaking at the top shortly as he reaches the halfway point of his run. Now, as you go in, Brynildsen gets it wrong immediately into the trees in the entrance to the village. Brynildsen gets it all wrong as he that's almost the first couple of corners he's got it wrong there. So Eivind Brynildsen has immediately knocked himself out of contention, and that is how quickly it can go wrong. And again, into the crash barriers. That's going to pose an issue if he can't get that car out of the way. This is going to be really tricky for him to get it back facing the right direction. So Brynildsen not having a good time. He's got to flick that car back around the right direction, and does. But gets it back going again. But that would have knocked his confidence, so a crash in the first couple of corners. Then again, shortly afterwards. Now Sandy Mitchell is going to be starting his descent very shortly. He's just coming up towards the top of the col. And now the descent starts. So he's heading back down the mountain now. And this is where it gets really fast, technical, twisty, and you've got to be accurate. You've got to be smooth. Into the square right-hander here. Nice and neat and tidy from Sandy Mitchell at the moment. More used to iRacing rather than Assetto Corsa. You've got a sheer drop on the left-hand side waiting to send you off the cliff, off the side of the mountain. And the road is just about as wide as the car. Now, a couple of sharp hairpins now. Simone Campidelli waiting on the line. He is the next car on the line, and he will be heading into the stage now. So, European Rally Championship driver from Italy. Winner of Rally Italy in the ERC last year. Not a full-time competitor in it, but extremely quick. So, Campidelli getting this countdown now. And away goes Campidelli now. You'll see, heading into the village section for the first time, Campidelli enters the stage here in Dragozze. Now, through the couple of tight and twisty right-handers, you get the sense of speed as they come through the village here. Really tight and twisty section through the middle of the streets here, and then heading out of it straight away. So, we've got 3 cars in the stage now. We've got Brynildsen, Campidelli, and Sandy Mitchell are the 3 cars on the stage. Now coming through the last hairpin. Coming up the hill now. Sandy Mitchell will be coming towards the end of his run very shortly. Campidelli at the beginning of his run into the side of the wall, gets away with that one. Just a bag of understeer right there. But Andrew Lavadino on the start line as well. And Campidelli continues his run now. Brynildsen should be a little bit ways further up the road, and Sandy Mitchell should be coming up to the end of his run quite shortly. There is Sandy Mitchell. Yeah, he's in the last sector now. So Sandy Mitchell will be setting the benchmark time. He's got 2 more corners to go. He's got the spectators on the left-hand side, which are in a very precarious location right there. Now, 2 more corners to go. It's really tricky corner, a problem corner for the driver. The last corner, Sandy Mitchell sets the benchmark at 5:21.608. And that is the time they have got to beat. That is not a bad time at all from Sandy Mitchell. Simone Campidelli is the next car behind Brynildsen. And of course, if you're just tuning in, this is the Suirway MKII Escort Challenge presented by Digital-Motorsports.com. Digital Motorsports, of course, providing bespoke solutions shipped to your house, simulator rigs, and installed in your house if you want it, with training support and remote support provided afterwards as well. So there's some fantastic products waiting for you in Digital-Motorsports.com. So if you want to find out anything more, you can email info@Digital-Motorsports.com as we release Andre Lavadino into the stage, the photographer for the World Rally Championship, now in the Mark II itself. And we saw he was really throwing this car around in Mondello. It's going to be precarious as he gets a little bit out of shape into the village. Looking nice and neat and tidy at the moment for Lavadino. Man from Portugal. And of course, in their own battle, the Portuguese are in their own battle between Lavadino and Pedro Fontes, and he gets on the grass and spins it as he comes up towards the hill. But now he's got to get the car turned around again, which is really, really hard because the track is so narrow, and he's going to be stuck in the middle. He's stranded in the middle of the road. Then he's got to go back on himself, use that slip road to get the car turned around again, and does get going again. That's the same place where Brynildsen lost it, close enough to where Brynildsen lost it on his run as well. So this is proving to be quite tricky for the drivers. Really sideways on the exit of the hairpin right now. But into the barrier again for Lavadino. He's really not enjoying this one. He's got to get the car turned around again, and this could prove really tricky for the driver that gets released into the stage next. We look at Eyvind Brynildsen, who is on his descent of the mountain at the moment. And he will be closing in on the last couple of sectors now. You just see, he's about to come through the last couple of corners now. He's in the last 2 sectors. So we'll see what Brynildsen does. We know it's not going to challenge Sandy Mitchell because Brynildsen, of course, spun it twice in the first sector. You can see he's taking it really easy now, onboarding, and you can get an idea of how narrow this stage is. It is a real-life stage in the Slovenian Rally Championship, so this has been modelled. And they now go through, but Simone Campidelli is also on his descent of the mountain. And he's actually not too far away from Evan Brynildsen. Brynildsen now coming up to the last couple of corners. So we'll see what Brynildsen's time is going to be. As he comes up to the last 2 corners now. The kink at the left-hander, then across the line. Brynildsen will set a 6:17.912. So that is slower than Sandy Mitchell. So it was a good time from Sandy Mitchell. 5:21.50 was Sandy Mitchell's time. But Campidelli is now on his descent of the mountain, as mentioned, and he's into the last couple of sectors. Lavadino is also still on his ascent of the mountain, but he'll be coming over the crest of it in a couple of sectors' time. But Lavadino will then have Matthias Adelson released into the stage after him. And then the battle will come right down to the wire. Adelson is actually already in the stage. We now look at Matthias Adelson, the European Rally Championship driver from Sweden. And of course, part of WERT Esports as well. Heads up the hill for the first time. Still on his ascent. As he now crests over the hill into the left-hander. And looking good so far for Adelson. Crests over into the hairpin. Now, Josh Malin on the line for his run. So let's see how Josh gets on. He didn't set a bad time last time out in Mondello, so we'll see what Josh Malin is able to do. The United GT5 driver from the UK, 19 years old. And he is going to be released into the stage momentarily. Then Dan Evans will follow him into the stage afterwards. Josh Malin is released into the stage in Dragozza in Slovenia. And we await the arrival at the finish line of Simona Campidelli and the others. Josh Malin through the village for the first time. Let's get the sense of speed. Come through for the first time, looking neat and tidy. Taps the wall on the outside though, but gets away with it. Just about gets away with it. But is able to carry on nonetheless. It's a really good one from Josh Malin, able to survive. Lavadino looks like he's had another spin at the top of the mountain there. He seems to get going again, but not the best run from Lavadino. Got going again, which is the crucial thing. But continuing down the hill, he's now entering into the last 2 sectors. So Lavadino will end his run momentarily. He's on the descent of the mountain. This is the Dragozza stage. Is off the road he goes. Does he get back on the road? Yes. Good recovery from Lavadino. Don't know how he managed to get that back in shape, but he does. And now carries on as if nothing happens. Good recovery, Andre Lavadino. But again, he gets sideways again, but back with Matthias Adelson, who is also on his descent of the mountain. This is looking like a decent run for Matthias. Around the hairpin for the first time through the stage. See, taking it really easy. 30 kilometers an hour on the apex of the hairpin, not throwing it in. Of course, there aren't any pace notes, so the drivers have got to know the stage off by heart. So it's a decent one. We're looking good for Adelson. Andre Lavadino is about to come to the finish line. Well, almost. He's coming into the last sector now. Sideways over the jump. Now, winding his way through the trees of the Slovenian forest here. Gets it wrong. Way too late on the brakes. But bounces off the barrier. Luckily enough, he bounced off it. Through the bottom hairpin. He's got a couple of more corners left to go as Andre Lavadino. It has been a messy run from Portuguese driver. But you can say he got to the end. He would not be as familiar with the stage as some of the guys that have put in a lot of hours of practice into this stage. This has been the one that has taken the most time for the drivers because of the length of the stage and how tricky. And he mows down a lot of spectators there. Lavadino manages to run over the spectators. I told you they were in a precarious position. But Lavadino is going to get across the line now, eventually, after a really, really messy run. But it's a 6:47 for him. And we go back now to Josh Malin, who is beginning his descent of the Slovenian mountain. of Dragozze. Dan Evans is also in the stage now. So, now look at Dan Evans, also a really experienced sim racer from the UK. He's also part of the Codemasters team, developing Dirt Rally 2.0. So fantastic to have Dan with us. Again, competing in a very different game to what he's used to. He's in the first part of the stage now, is Dan Evans. But again, we're delighted to have all these real-world drivers and sim racers alike competing in the Suirway MKII Escort Challenge presented by Digital Motorsports in association with Motorsport Ireland, who very kindly supported this series. So coming through the right-hander on the hairpin. Speaking of Motorsport Ireland, you can kind of see the branding all around the stage in the hairpins at every possible opportunity, and we thank them for their support in this one. Big help to us. And Dan Evans continues his run. Now Josh Malin is in the final sector of his stage. It's been a decent looking run from Josh Malin. He's been looking clean, neat and tidy. Grazes the barrier a little bit there, but he gets away with it. And Josh, of course, as mentioned, more used to iRacing. He was saying he's feeling it. He's feeling the difference between iRacing and Assetto Corsa. But either way, he's looking neat and tidy in this MKII Escort. Now, into the last sector comes Josh Malin as he comes to the end of his run. And more drivers yet to come, so don't go anywhere. And of course, we'll be announcing the winner of the sim rig at the end of the runs as well. Dan Evans about to just come to the peak of the column. He will start his descent just as they drop downhill right about now. So the descent starts there. He gets a little bit out of shape as he hits the bump stop. But getting away with it there. Oh no! Is that Josh Malin off? It is! So Josh Malin, either he just finished his run or he had made a mistake right there. We'll check the timing boards. But it looks like he disappeared off into the distance. Dan Evans with a nice rotation through the square right there. Of course, Matthias Adilson setting the benchmark time as well, 5:27.964. So Adilson has the time to beat. And we now have Evan Walsh out on the stage as well. So we'll see what Evan can do. The man from Clonmel and County Tipperary, sim racer for VRA Racing. And an extremely quick driver. Now, throws it through here on the power nicely. He's doing a lot of practice here. Keith Dempsey now. We've got to keep an eye on this. He is, at the moment, the rally leader. Can he hold on to that lead? He needs to beat Craig Breen still. So there's a lot of work to do for Keith Dempsey. But will the stage knowledge come back to bite him? Now, coming through the village section, look at the speed they're going to carry through here now. Fourth gear, 150 kilometers an hour, touching 160 as he comes through the village. And then beginning his ascent of the mountain. Pumping hours and hours of practice into this, these drivers have been. And Josh Malin actually did not get across the line, so that was a mistake from Josh Malin. So he does not set a time. We await the arrival of Dan Evans, who is the next car on the stage, as well as Evan Walsh, who's on the stage. So Dan Evans will be the first to cross the line of the three cars on the stage right now. Keith Dempsey, he can't afford any mistakes. He is the rally leader by a margin of about 0.4 of a second at the moment. And he is, of course, a multiple Digital Motorsports champion here with us. He's won the TCR Championship. He's won the GT Championship. He's the Virtual Leinster Trophy champion. He's got a lot of action with him. And up the hill. Up the hill. And we are hearing that Josh Malin did set a time. We're just going to manually input it. And now we stick with Keith Dempsey and we wait the arrival of Dan Evans across the line. So currently it is Adilson from Watson and Brynelson and Lavadino. And we'll see where Josh Malin manages to slot in here with the manual time that he's going to input. So Dempsey looking really nice and neat and tidy into the hairpin, this wide hairpin. Evan Walsh on the descent to the mountain now. using all throw, look, dipping 2 wheels onto the grass and throws it into the hairpin. Beautiful car control from Evan Walsh right there. Really putting on a show right there. He's pushing hard, Evan, right here. And there'll be a lot of support for Evan now as he descends the call here in Slovenia. Fantastic to see Evan get a good result out of this one. Through the hay bales. Evan, don't forget, of course, made the skins that you're seeing on the Mark II right now. He does an amazing job on these skins. On board now with Evan Walsh. Down the hill, down the mountain, in the final couple of sectors now. Look at the wheel wear. Look how much he's using the wheel. How much he's having to fight against the car. Just wants to spin at every single opportunity with the amount of power that he's got under his right foot. Dan Evans, by the way, 531.3, slotting behind Adelson. But Keith Dempsey as well. So this is the business end of things right now. So Keith Dempsey, Evan Walsh, and Dempsey is absolutely flying as well. Oh, touches the bump there. That won't help him. It won't help his confidence, but he still carries on. But looks like he's a little bit cautious right now. Interesting to see what Evan Walsh is going to do. He's in the final sector. Oh, gets it a little bit wrong there. He gets a twitch, but carries on. He's really pushing here, Evan Walsh. This is coming through the last couple of corners right now. Evan Walsh, what is he going to set? Is he going to be the fast time? Look at him twitching at the wheels. He tries to get the car straight. This is a real good performance from Evan Walsh. Across the line, 5:15.11, fastest time of anybody. 13 seconds quicker than Matthias Adelson. That is the gauntlet thrown down by Evan Walsh. That's a really, really good time from Evan Walsh. Now, back with Keith Dempsey. Lawrence de Soswa is on the stage as well. And then we've got the business end of things. So that's a really impressive time from Evan Walsh right there. But a fantastic job. Now, Keith Dempsey, how does he respond? Is he going to be able to do that? But that was exceptional car control from Evan Walsh right there. We'll see how he's going to hold up. We have Zetterlund waiting on the start ramp. And up ahead of him will be Jose Pedro Fontes, the 44-year-old from Portugal, multiple Portuguese rally champion as well. And away he goes from the line. Great to have him. Oh, gets a little bit twitched. Nearly gets it wrong straight away off the line. Straight through the twitchy village sections right now. If you're just tuning in, this is the Suirway Mark II Escort Challenge presented by Digital-Motorsports.com and in association with Motorsport Ireland, and the wonderful prize, of course, supplied and sponsored by Fanatec and Sim Labs, who we thank for their great hard work over the course of the hard few months that we've had so far. But let's keep an eye on Keith Dempsey flying over the jump as he heads into the last sector. This is going to be interesting to watch. How does Keith Dempsey fare up? He's pushing hard, but he's looking nice and tidy at the moment. Coming through the last sector now, gets a little bit wide right there. And now right on board. Look at the speed he carries down here. You can barely even see where you're going. It's pure tunnel vision down this part of the stage. Dabbing the brakes at each opportunity just to make sure that you're not going to get it wrong. You don't have pace notes, so you're relying on your memory here, which makes it even harder. Through the last couple of corners comes Keith Dempsey. He's got Evan Walsh to beat. Is he going to do it through the left-hander and across the kink at the left-hander? Is he going to be able to eclipse Evan's time? He comes across the line, 5:11.54. He has gone quicker by 4 seconds. Keith Dempsey is the leader. That's a fantastic time from Keith Dempsey. Responds in style with a 5:11. Now, Lawrence de Soswa on the stage, on his descent of the mountain at the moment. And he's got Jose Pedro Fontes on the stage behind him. Following him will be Zetterlund. And then Watson, Armstrong and Craig Breen will be the very last car on the stage. So, what does de Soswa do? Lawrence is going to be looking to get to the end here. As we heard, he's delighted to be even taking part, so it's fantastic to have him with us as well. And make sure you do go support him as well. Andreas Zetterlund onto the stage, another sim racer joining us from Sweden. And he, of course, competes in a lot of Dirt Rally 2.0. So, a different beast from him now into the village, taking a lot of speed through there, using all of the road. And up the hill, he begins his ascent. See how Zetterlund gets on. So Dempsey is your leader at the moment, followed by Evan Walsh, and Evan Brynildsen is third at the moment. Sorry, it should be Andrew Watson who's third at the moment on the timings with these guys. So now Zetterlund, he will begin his run. And I think we can ignore the time that is in the bottom right. That was a time that was set earlier on, we believe. So we'll see what his time will be, if it's going to be an improvement on that time. So Jose Pedro Fontes is on his run. He's on his descent. And he should be just behind Lawrence, who's also on the stage as well. But Lawrence is coming up to the last sector now, so we'll see where Lawrence is going to slot in this one. So Andrew Watson sitting on the line as well. He'll be ready to go shortly. And taking it nice and easy as Lawrence is coming up to the last couple of corners now. And he will finish out his run. And what is his time going to be? Coming across the line to set a 5:47.0. That's not a bad time at all from Lawrence. And that is going to slot him just ahead of Andrew. I think should slot him in the top 5. It's a decent time. But Fontes coming in now. Watson on the stage. So it's looking good for Andrew Watson at the moment. The time in the bottom right, do ignore that one because that is a time that he set earlier in the session. So we will have to wait for the time from Andrew Watson. We won't know what that is when he crosses the line. We will only know if it is an improvement. But Watson, the man from Belfast, now on the stage. 2 more cars left to come. John Armstrong and Craig Breen left to run. And we wait the arrival of Jose Pedro Fontes and Andreas Zetterland. And we're going to cross the line shortly. Andrew Watson. Now, John Armstrong on the line. The man from County Fermanagh and the development driver for Dirt Rally 2.0. How is he going to fare in this run? Looking neat and tidy from Andrew Watson. Of course, he's more used to a GT car. So this is a whole new ball game for him, but he's learned well. Oh, gets it wrong. It's just as I say that, touches the barrier and spins it at the top of the hill. Spins it round quickly, gets it going. But, yeah, he gets it back in good shape there from Andrew Watson. So that will have cost him big time. But then will, of course, would have knocked his confidence as well. So now he cannot afford any mistakes. Jose Pedro Fontes, Portuguese rally legend, coming to the end of his run at the time. Through the right-hander, nice and easy. And now through the last couple of corners, Jose Pedro Fontes. Where is he going to slot in? He comes across the line. What's his time going to be? Be a better question. 6:08 for Jose Pedro Fontes. And fantastic to have Jose with us. So a big thank you to Jose for coming in. Now, Zetterland, riding the wall there, using 2 wheels coming through the village there from Zetterland, using all the road and more. As he slots his way through the Slovenian countryside. Sideways on the way out. Downhill. Now, John Armstrong on the stage as he heads through. Like I mentioned, man from County Fermanagh, eSports WRC champion, and the driver in JWRC this year in the Ford Fiesta R2. Let's see what he can do. Can he challenge Keith Dempsey's time of a 5:11.8? Just as a reference, by the way, I would say Craig Breen's time that he set in practice was a 5:09. So it's going to be very close. So Craig Breen cannot afford any mistakes. So John Armstrong up the hill now. And here we go. Now, the climax, the final car to come into the stage. Craig Breen will head into the stage very shortly with John Armstrong on a massive, massive push. Late on the brakes and turning it in nicely there. Lots of speed carried through there. That was nicely done from John. Now, he really throwing this Mark II around. 350 brake horsepower, 2.5 litre Millington engine in this one. Now, Really nicely done so far from John Armstrong. We await the arrival of Andrew Watson, who will be ahead of him on the road. But we wait now to see if Craig Breen can beat the time. If John Armstrong can beat the time is another question as well. Now, away goes Craig Breen into the stage, and now it's on. The fight is on for the overall win. Craig Breen helped develop this car as he comes to the village section now, using all of the road. Coming through now, out of the village section, looking neat and tidy at the moment. So now the only 3 cars left on stage are Watson, Breen and Armstrong. Armstrong still on his climb. Whoa, massive tail wag from John Armstrong out of the hairpin right there. Somehow holds onto it. He's really on a big push right now. Of course, he's running in virtual reality on VR as well. So he's fully immersed in his sim. So he's right through. And Craig Breen also in the beginning of his run as well. So using the left-hand drive for a big tail wag coming out of the hairpin. And he's now has got to aim for a 5:11.1. 5:11.5, excuse me, set by Keith Dempsey. And John Armstrong begins the descent of the mountain, throws it into the hairpin. Beautifully done. John Armstrong really going for it now, really pushing. Craig Breen now comes up the hill. So Watson is should be nearing the end of his run, or has already come across the line. And we stick with Armstrong and Breen at the moment because the battle, this is the one we want to watch. Armstrong, Breen and Dempsey in the last sector. Beautiful from Armstrong, beautiful car control shown right now, and he's really on a big bag of understeer. Somehow keeps it away from the cliff edge as he ride on board on the gyro cam. Now, this really tight village section right here, kink to the left-hand side, and this is only about as wide as the car is. Into the final sector, this is looking really quick from John Armstrong. Craig Breen is on his ascent. Armstrong is in the final sector, so we wait and see what Armstrong can do, if we can stick with him, if at all possible. And Armstrong is on his final couple of sectors now, riding on board. He's got his best time in practice with the 5:27. I'm sure he's going to beat that because this has been an absolute flyer from John Armstrong at the moment. Now down the hill into the hairpin. And down the hill once again, coming into the last couple of sectors now, into the last couple of corners. Flying at 160 kilometers an hour through the grass, over the bridge. This is pure memory he's relying on, by the way. There's no pace notes. Through the couple of right-handers now, the last right-hander. And 2 more corners to go. Can John Armstrong eclipse the time of Keith Dempsey? Full on as he goes to the left-hander. He's pushing with every ounce of his might. And it's a 4:56.56. What a time from John Armstrong. That, as the gauntlet has severely been thrown down by John Armstrong. He smashes the time of Keith Dempsey. Unbelievable. Craig Breen has got a lot to push for now. This is a big time he's got to beat now. Unbelievable. So Craig Breen is the last car on the stage. He's got our undivided attention. Down the hill. And descend into the village. Oh, he's on the descent. It all... Craig Breen is... Now he's got to set a good time. He's got to set a good time to hold on to the rally lead because he needs to beat Keith Dempsey first of all. John Armstrong, remind you, actually was second on the road as well. They're third in stage number 1, and John Armstrong now leading stage 2. So we wait and see what the overall results will be. There'll be a bit of calculating. So if you'll bear with us while the guys work hard to calculate the results of the overall time, but Craig Breen has got a massive time to beat right now. 4:56 to beat, and from my perspective, it does not look as quick. It doesn't look as on the ragged edge as John Armstrong's was, but he's in the final sector now, using all of the road, every ounce of cuts that he can, that's allowed, down into the last couple of hairpins. Got a lot to answer now. Down the hill, Look at the speed, 160 kilometers now through here, throwing it through, using all of the grass and more, using every inch of the road as he enters the last couple of corners now. Through the right-hander, 2 more left-handers to go. Can Craig Breen eclipse the time of John Armstrong? I'm not sure he can, but he comes to the line to set what his time is going to be. He comes across the line, 5-minute point 4. John Armstrong wins the stage by 4 seconds. He smashes it. And now we wait to see what the overall time has been. That's a fantastic time from John Armstrong. Craig Breen is unable to beat it. So John Armstrong wins stage 2. And we wait to see who's going to win, who's going to have the overall time. With a 4-second difference, it's going to be really close between the two of them. There could be even just a second in the difference in the overall time. So we will now have some calculations in the background. That was incredible by John Armstrong. And that was on the ragged edge. Unbelievable driving. Now the guys have got to calculate the times frantically in the background to try and see who's won this. And that was possibly one of the best drives I've ever seen by John Armstrong. So John's overall time has just been calculated right now, but his time was a 4:56.5 and a 5-minute point 4 for Craig Breen. Andreas Zetterland, we think, was third. There's a couple more times need to be calculated here. Keith Dempsey was third on the road, as you can see, 5:11.546 he set. So there was a good bit of time, 11 seconds between himself and Craig Breen. Keith Dempsey falls victim to Craig, and John Armstrong 4 seconds quicker than Craig. 3.8 between them, so that you can see that's just mega times. And it's been incredible. We just wait to see who is going to claim this first victory. So once again, we remind you, while we wait for the results to be calculated, we, of course, encourage you to get involved with the prize that is on offer, which is the full rally simulator decked out in Fanatec gear. And if you do want to be in with a chance of winning this, simply all you've got to do is you have to subscribe to the Digital Motorsports channel. You've got to subscribe to the email newsletter. And you've got to tell us in the chat, you've got to say in the chat why you think you should win this simulator. But please do not spam the same answer, because believe it or not, it does not increase your chance of winning. So the winner will be picked shortly. So we just wait and see. We have the winner of the... We think we have the winner, but we don't. We're just going to get it calculated again. So we're going to wait and see. So if you bear with us in the background while the guys are frantically trying to sort things out in the background, we're going to announce the winner of the Fanatec simulator, and we're also going to announce the winner of the overall rally as well. And we, of course, we remind you, this is the Suirway MKII Escort Challenge presented by Digital-Motorsports and in association with Motorsport Ireland, who very kindly supported this championship, and as well Fanatec and SimLabs for giving us the prize. So we're going to be talking to a few of the drivers shortly as well. And we've got a couple more drivers come in. Craig Breen is in with us now. Craig, I mean, what a stage that was from John Armstrong. You had to push really hard for that one.
Yeah, no, that was pretty incredible. To be fair, it's amazing that it's, after the two stages, times are so close. It's still trying to be added up in the background there, but I'm just delighted the way the whole thing has worked out. To be honest with you, that's absolutely perfect, and it's exactly what we're looking for. It's a bit of fun, and obviously to have it so close is brilliant. So no, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, we're going to just go to John now. John, what a stage! You looked like you were on the ragged edge the whole way through that one.
Yeah, I was giving that my all. I didn't have the best of starts on Mondello. Just struggling a little bit with the frame rate in there, but just gave it everything in that stage, and it was a lot of fun. And to be so close with Craig, both of us real rally drivers, it just shows that rally drivers can come to simulators and have a good battle on these as well.
Of course, you helped develop Dirt Rally 2.0. So, how tricky was it trying to adapt to something new, Assetto Corsa?
That's it. It's always quite tricky for people in esports to jump between different games. You can confuse yourself quite easily. There's some things you might get away with in one game, and some things you get away with in another game. So you just have to keep your brain sharp and do as much practice as you can. I think me and Craig racked up the hours over the week there. So we had a good battle, and it was a lot of fun.
And what do you make of the car? Now, I've heard a lot of good things about the car. What do you think of it?
The car's a lot of fun to drive. I haven't had the opportunity to drive a real Escort in real life. Nothing like a Millington one anyway, but any footage or any onboards I've seen from real life, it looks exactly what we're driving here, and it gives me a good sensation. So yeah, I think it was good fun, and fair play to the lads for organising it all too. I know it was a lot of work, but I think it paid off for everyone.
Good stuff. Now we can just jump to Keith. Keith, the pace wasn't quite there in the second one. Really tricky one without the pace nuts, but either way, still got third on the road.
Yeah, I knew I was going to struggle in the stage, to be honest, and I got a clean run through. But watching John and Craig there, and especially John's on board for that last run, Jesus, I was way off from what he was doing. But yeah, I'm still happy. It's not obviously my sort of discipline at all, but it's tough. But happy to be third, and fair play to all the lads for organising it and all the work that went into it, because it's been a lot of work in the background that people don't see. So fair play to everybody.
As well, you're of course more focused on IRS, and so I'm sure you agree with John. It's quite tricky to jump between two different forms.
Yeah, I haven't driven iRacing really all week, so just been doing a bit of practice on this, but not as much as I would have liked. But yeah, still, this is a really nice mod. I have to say, you put this into iRacing or any other mod or any other game, it would be right up there with some of the best I've driven. So it's really enjoyable, good fun. The physics feel fairly good to me. I've never driven one, obviously, but you have a fair idea how a car should feel, and it was top notch.
Good stuff. Well, well done, Keith. Well done, John. Well done, Craig. We're waiting for the results to get calculated, so we'll wait and see who's going to take the overall win as well. So, well, we're coming to the end of the stream very shortly as well, so we'll stay tuned while we frantically calculate everything. And the guys are calculating all the overall times. Right, so, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the simulator, the Fanatec simulator, was given to it, or is provided, of course, by Fanatec and SimLabs, is Colin Mack. Is the winner. He has won. So congratulations, Colin. You are the winner of this wonderful simulator, and the guys will be in contact with you very shortly. And we hope you enjoy the hell out of that one. And thank you so much for everyone's support as well. But now the final thing, of course, we have to wait for as well is who's won the rally, which is another one. And while we wait as well, we got a big thank you as well to Suirway, who has kindly, of course, we are running this in association with Suirway, and of course with Motorsport Ireland, who very, very kindly supported this series, and as well to Fanatec and to SimLabs, who've given us the prize that has now been sent out to Colin, who I'm sure is going to really, really enjoy that one. It's a hell of a simulator, Colin, so really, really, really best of luck with it, and we hope that you'll hopefully maybe take part in the Digital-Motorsports Championship with it as well. But SimLabs as well have been working so hard during this COVID-19 lockdown as well, and we hope you're all keeping well at home as well. But a big thank you to Fanatec and a big thank you to SimLabs, who have done incredible work sending out all the orders and keeping the guys all on their toes. And I'm just having a quick look at the overall times, and I can tell you what, it is incredibly close. So I'm going to we're just going to wait for the go ahead to announce the times, but it is incredibly close. And it's really close. So we're going to wait for we're going to announce them in reverse order: third, second, first. Hang back, I've just got people talking in my ear. Yeah. So, yeah, I know. So we're just getting the results in my ear. Third place, Keith Dempsey, 9:07. So Keith Dempsey on the podium in this one. But the all-important one, of course, is who has won between Craig and John, who were very, very close across the board. And let me just tell you, everyone, less than half a second separating them between both stages, which is unbelievable. So either way, this is going to be close, very close. And we just wait for the confirmation of who is going to finish in second, who's going to finish in first. Right, so John Armstrong, winner of the Suirway MKII Escort Challenge by less than half a second. He's won it. Craig Breen behind him on a 9:57, and it was an 8:59 for John Armstrong. So, John, I think you're with me. You've won the rally. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. It's nice to win a rally, and especially a close battle with Craig in such real circumstances. It felt like a good battle. So yeah, it's just nice to compete, and to come away with the win is absolutely fantastic.
I'm sure if there was more rallies like this in the future, I think we can possibly expect you back for another one.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's a good experience, and it's good to see so many real drivers competing, and it feels like a lot like the real thing. Whenever you're lining up behind Craig there, it's quite surreal, but it's definitely a lot of fun, and I'll be back for sure.
Good stuff. And of course, you're competing in the Junior WRC as well this year. I'm sure there's plenty of sim racing going on, but I'm sure you're itching to get back in the car as well.
That's it, yeah. Can't wait to get back behind the wheel of a real rally car as well. I don't know, it might have to be a Millington powered Mark II Escort now after tonight, but we'll have to see about that.
Good stuff. Well done, Sean. If we can just go to Craig now as well. Craig, less than half a second. It was close, but not enough in the end.
So it's brilliant. It was exactly what we were hoping for, to be honest with you. When we started up this whole concept was to have a close battle and have something to something for people to watch. Obviously there's no real rallying going on at the moment, so we wanted to make some sort of a spectacle, and I just hope that the concept will continue. I'm hopefully going to be getting busier and busier myself in the next few weeks, and I just hope that this idea can grow, and we can open it up to the general public. General people can go and do it and then enjoy these type of rallies. So but no, really a lot of fun. Thanks to the guys at Digital-Motorsports. Thanks to all the sponsors, Suirway, Millington, Fanatec, SimLab, all the people that have been involved in it. It's been really, really fun. A lot of work that's gone into it. I've put a bit in. I've been busy doing other bits and pieces, but to be fair to everybody at Digital-Motorsports, they've put absolutely their heart and soul into this, so many hours, and it's all thanks to them.
Yeah, as well. Speaking of the real car, you're going to be getting underway very shortly. I think congratulations, Arnoldo. You're going to be behind the wheel of WRC car in Finland again.
Yeah, no, that's obviously nice news, and we'll have hopefully we'll have Rome in the European Championship as well before that. So it's all slowly starting to wake back up again in the next couple of weeks. And but yeah, I've enjoyed my time, doing the sim stuff. It's opened my eyes, to be honest with you, to a whole new world, and it's been a lot of fun. And yeah, look at it. I'm sure I'll be able to squeeze it in here and there, into the future. So it's been a lot of fun.
Great stuff. Well, thanks a million, Craig. Well done, John, as well, for winning the rally, and hopefully we'll see you all back for another one very shortly. But yeah, it's been fantastic to all the viewers out there. Thank you all for tuning in. It was our highest viewed stream ever that we've had over here on Digital-Motorsports.com. Thanks to everyone who joined in there, and to all who joined in, coming from Dirtfish, coming from all those different forms. And it's great to have all the drivers as well, just to mention, of course, John, Craig, Matthias Adelson, Zetterland, Evan Walsh, Keith Dempsey, just to mention all of those guys who did incredibly well. And we hope that they'll all be back in a future edition of this as well. And big thank you, of course, to Suirway, to Millington, to Fanatec, and to SimLabs for sponsoring this event, and of course to Motorsport Ireland and for supporting the event so kindly as well. So, and as well, make sure to of course check out Digital-Motorsports.com for all your sim racing solutions. If you, of course, want to buy a simulator or get involved, there's support available after your purchase as well, with delivery to your door as well. And of course, I think from all of the drivers' point of view, a massive thank you has to go out to Niall, who's working so hard behind the scenes to get the timings, and all the guys, Ronan and Peter, and all the guys who have been doing a fantastic job to get things running smoothly. But thank you all so much for watching this stream, and hopefully we'll be back with another edition of it in the future. We, of course, really want to get another one of these underway in the coming months, and we'll work hard on getting that underway for you. And the drivers absolutely loved every single bit of it. So from all of us here at Digital-Motorsports.com, this has been the Suirway MKII Escort Challenge presented by Digital-Motorsports.com. My name has been Jack Canan, and from all of us, it's been a fantastic evening of racing, but that's going to round it out.